Ever feel like you're fighting a battle you just can't win, you against yourself? It happens. You make a plan, you start strong, and then, almost on cue, you fall right back into the same routine. And the result? Nothing. It can feel like a curse. But it's not. That's your nervous system trying to keep you stable. So if you want real change, don't just focus on stopping old habits. Learn how to stay balanced after you break them. Stay with me. I'll show you how. Most of what you do each day runs on loops. Here's how it works. First, there's a trigger. Something sets it off. Then comes the action, what you say or do. Then the payoff, a feeling driven by your reward system. And it all happens so fast, you don't even notice it until the results show up. Your brain is wired for survival, so loops like this pull you back into what feels safe, even when it's holding you back. That's why harmful habits can still feel safe. Not because they're good, but because they're predictable. And over time, the more you repeat them, the more behavior starts to feel like identity. Now you're not just doing the habit, you're defending it. Your brain is always trying to guess what comes next. It uses the past to predict the present, which means you're often reacting to expectations, not reality. Even negative expectations can feel rewarding when they come true. Why? Because your brain values certainty. It would rather be right about something bad than uncertain about something new. So when you go against a pattern, your system reacts. Something's off. That discomfort has a name. It's called a prediction error. And as uncomfortable as it feels, it's actually required for change. A pattern interrupt is simple. It's doing something different. Right at the moment you would normally repeat the same behavior. That interruption creates a gap. And inside that gap, you get a choice. But here's what most people miss. Timing matters. If you don't catch it early, the emotional wave takes over. Interrupting an action is one thing. Interrupting a thought? That's a skill, and most people stop here, thinking the interrupt is the win. It's not. That's just the beginning. The moment you interrupt a habit, your body reacts fast. You feel it. Tension, restlessness, that strong urge to go back. What's really happening? Your system is trying to regain balance. And in that moment, willpower struggles, because logic gets pushed aside by discomfort. So what do? You go back to the old pattern, not because you want to, but because it regulates you. It brings you back to what's familiar. That's why people say, I tried, and it didn't work. But it did work. You just didn't know how to handle what came after. You didn't have a way to stay, so you escaped. Remember this, bad habits, just like good ones, serve a purpose. That's why they stick. So if you remove a habit, without replacing what it was doing for you, your system feels exposed, even threatened. And that's where resistance comes from. Not weakness, not laziness, necessity, and protection. When you interrupt a pattern, your body reacts before your mind. You'll feel it, physical tension, a faster heartbeat, mental fog, irritation, or the urge to avoid. This is your stress response. Fight, frustration, flight, distraction, freeze, shut down. And in that moment, something important happens. It becomes harder to think. Your decision-making drops, so trying to think your way through it doesn't work. You have to regulate your state first, both mentally and physically. Most of the work is this, learning to feel discomfort without escaping it. That's regulation. And notice, you're not trying to suppress the feeling or fix it. You're simply staying present while the wave passes. And when you do that, the urge starts to weaken. The pattern loses its grip. And the brain begins to update. You're teaching your nervous system something new. I don't have to respond the way I used to, even if the feeling is still there. Change doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from increasing what you can handle, one step at a time. Think in terms of capacity. If you do too much, too fast, you overwhelm your system. But small, steady steps, that's what builds stability. That's what lasts. Don't try to change everything at once. Start small. Aim for just 10% each step of the way. For example, slow down your response. Pause, count, breathe. Respond once, instead of shutting down completely. Take one small action, instead of doing nothing. This keeps you within your limits. And that's where real progress happens. Not in intensity, but in consistency. The hardest part isn't starting. It's staying. After the pattern interrupt, your system will try to pull you back. And that moment, that's the one that matters most. If you can stay, through the discomfort, the urge, and that unfamiliar feeling, something shifts. You create a new baseline. What once felt wrong starts to feel normal. And that's how change becomes permanent. Real change isn't one big decision. It's a series of small moments where you interrupt the old, regulate your response, and stay with the new. Do that enough times, and your system begins to rewire. Not through force, but through experience. You're not just doing something different. You're staying with it long enough for it to stick. And if you're working on change right now, share this with someone who needs to understand what's really going on beneath the surface.